gotta be baby.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Courtney, and if you're new here, welcome to the Occasionally Social Podcast. And are you feeling lost or unaccomplished at that you may have not hit all your goals or a lot of the goals in 2022? I feel you, sis, because I'm here with you. Well, today we are going to change that by setting ourselves up with a goals plan, including a plan of action with it. So let's get into it. So I just want to tell you like a little backstory of where I'm at on my today's episode, New Year, Better Me, with the question mark, because I want to challenge myself to be better than I was last year. I don't want to be really a new Courtney, but I want to be a better Courtney. And I felt like in 2022, I kind of just went rogue and didn't really have like goals really set in plans of actions to be with those goals. So I think that's why by the time the end of 2022 came, I was feeling like I didn't accomplish anything and I just was kind of sad and kind of disappointed in myself because normally I'm the one that is trying to hit goals. I love doing that. And I just didn't feel like I really accomplished anything last year. I will admit I did have fun. I went on trips. I went to my first bachelorette weekend. Like, I had fun. I definitely had fun last year. But as far as my goals, I don't really think I really had any in place. Or if I did by the beginning of the year, by the end of the year, I don't even remember what I was supposed to achieve in 2022. So here we are today. I'm recording this on New Year's Day. And I just feel like I need to get back into the motion of having goals to get myself back focused and just be more intentional with things in my life. Because I feel like I was giving myself a life of shambles that I don't like. And now I need to fix that and get out of that funk. And I think by me starting off the new year, as everybody does the new year, new me, like I think that's the start of me trying to get back to the Courtney I want to be. And so while I was starting to write out all my goals for the year, I came across one of my content creators that I like to watch. Her name is Hello Corey on YouTube and I believe on TikTok as well. And if I can, I'll try to link her YouTube channel in the show notes. And I saw that she was doing her New Year's goals setting and how she was going to plan it out. And she's trying the 12-week year plan this year. And so I kind of got interested and I watched her video and I was like, yeah, I think I need to do the same thing because me having this sheet of goals and no kind of action behind it it's going to get pushed to the side. Like sometimes that happens. And we kind of have all these goals we want to do, some of them big, some of them small. But then when we don't have anything like a deadline put behind it or like how we're going to get there, we kind of push it off and say, oh, we're going to wait till the end of the year. It's I got enough time. I got enough time. Oh, it's 6 months left in the year. Oh, yeah, I still can achieve that goal of losing, say, 60 pounds. And then you're like, oh, wow, I got to lose this much in 2 months. Yeah, no. And then you just kind of say, well, I'll do it next year. You just push it off, keep pushing it off, pushing it off. And so and so with the 12-week year, it's actually a book by authors Brian P. Moran, and if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I apologize, and Michael Lennington. It is, and I can also link the book in the show notes. I haven't read it, but I definitely want to pick it up and read it. But just to give you a gist of like what I kind of gathered from the videos that I've seen on YouTube, it's basically putting your goals in a 12-week time frame versus 12 months because sometimes making a bigger time frame kind of gets you distracted from achieving those goals. And by bringing the time frame down to a shortened amount of time can give you a better chance of achieving those goals. And like, for example, I think one goal that I didn't realize, I didn't do it on a 12-week plan or 12-week year plan, but I didn't realize that I was already doing SMART goals. That's an acronym, um, for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound goals. So I can get into that in a moment of like how we can break that down. But I did a SMART goal by when I purchased my home in 2020. So what I did was I didn't realize I was breaking it down in this sense. I kind of just had a generic goal, purchase my home. So the end of 2019, like December 31st, last day on my renewal for my apartment, I had talked to my dad previous. So shout out to Pops, shout out to your parents that let you, come back home if you need to, because there's a bigger goal at hand. And I talked to him and said, hey, I would like to purchase a home, so I need to get out of my rent in order to save money. So January 1st, 2020, I moved in with my dad, me and my kids. Oh my gosh, my dad. Again, shout out to my dad for having to put up with 4 extra people in his home and it's only him. Yeah. So I had to make a plan because I was actually not there just to be chilling there. So I decided, me and my dad decided together on this goal was to give yourself a year to save up enough money so that you can have a down payment for your home. And so thank the Lord that we had those stimulus checks. That definitely actually helped because I could have used those checks for frivolous things or buying different stuff that I didn't really need. But I put those checks that I got from my stimulus checks from the government, I put those into my savings and I used that towards my down payment. So by the time it was time for me to purchase the home, I went to go start looking at homes in April. I found the home that I really loved. It was a new build. And I think I still have it on my YouTube channel, the process of me getting my first home. And so check that out. And I want to say I gave myself, so April, I think I signed the papers. And then the whole process of me having to get all the money by, I want to say July is when I got all the money for my down payment. In August, we would sign closing on the home, and we're in the home now today. This is where the podcast is being held for right now. And I absolutely love the house. And I didn't realize I was doing myself a big goal. And like I said, like it really helped that I had my father there to help me. So when I got a paycheck, I gave him some money and I put some money into my savings. And every time, every payment, every paycheck I got, I put majority of it in the savings and help my dad around his house. So that's why I was able to leave there in August versus December. So that really helped. And I want to say, by me not frivolously, when I usually get a large amount of money, I might spend on something really nice or for the kids, but I feel like this was really important to do. So I had to be very, what is the word? I had to be very focused on not spending it. So that just was an example of one of the goals that I achieved by kind of setting up a plan with my father who helped me achieve that goal. So what today's topic is going to be talking about is the New Year Better Me. So if you are wanting to kind of try out the 12-week year plan with me, like let's kind of break it down and we can start it together. And so I have on, so you're going to see me, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see me kind of reading from my notes because I have a lot of like important things that I want to talk about and I don't want to forget. So I want to start with saying that one of my goals that I want to use as like an example for how we're breaking down this 12-week plan, we're going to use Start My Podcast. And do you see how Start My Podcast is a goal, right? But it's very broad, nothing specific about it. It's just Start My Podcast. And when I wanted to start my podcast, that was actually last year. But because I didn't really put into place a lot of, oh, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to, implement it, it just kept getting pushed aside, and then like my I was focusing on too many things at once. So I had to narrow down my focus. So I figured, okay, I want to give the podcast my all, and not when I'm in like a very sad, depressing state. So I'm still working on that. Because like I said, life can kick you in the butt sometimes. But as you can see, Start My Podcast really wasn't going to help make it attainable or achievable in a certain amount of time. So what we have to do with that broad goal is we need to make it more specific and put a plan behind it. So the main things that I want to talk about or go over on our 12-week plan together. And like I said, if you don't want to do it in a 12-week plan or you want to kind of spread it out a little bit more, that's fine. Whatever works for you. But we're going to choose a theme for your 12-week plan. And we're going to pick SMART goals that you want to achieve for the year. And we're going to implement the SMART goals into your plan of action. So how are we going to do this, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose your theme for your 12-week plan, right? So a theme gives your plan a purpose. It gives direction on where you want to be by the end of the year. I think themes make it more like motivating to do instead of just writing down a bunch of things that you may or may not even want to do. You're just kind of writing down stuff, right? And then if it gets too long, then you're looking at it like, wow, there's too many things. I'm not going to be able to reach all these in 1 year. And so once you give yourself a theme to your 12-week plan, I feel like then you can start figuring out the goals you want to achieve that year. So when choosing a theme, you can ask yourself questions like, what area in your life are you feeling like it's lacking? Something that you want to improve on. What would you like to improve in your life? Are there any behaviors or habits that you would like to change? And where do you overall see yourself at the end of the year? Your theme should inspire and motivate you. And I can give you some examples of some themes that I found online. There's probably more, and you can also look these up as well too. So like elevation, adventure, love, intentional, growth, happiness, nourish, enjoyment are just to name a few. And for me, my themes for my 12-week plan are intentional, happiness, and growth. And I chose those things because I want to say, if you can use one theme or you can use multiple themes, but you want them to tie into each other. And I chose my things because I want to be intentional with my life this year, stay focused on the bigger goals. I want to grow as far as myself. I want to grow my children. I want to see growth in them in school, education, behavior, in therapy. And I also want overall happiness, because all of this and you're not happy still can suck. And I know how sad I was the last part of 2022, and I really don't like feeling like that. So I want to implement being more happy, making more positive um, thoughts in my head, and having positive affirmations um, to help that out. And so now that you hear my themes, let me know on the social media platforms like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whichever one, or leave a review on the actual podcast. Let me know what are your themes this year, or what would you choose your themes to be. So now that we have a theme, you want to pick your SMART goals that you want to achieve for the year. And what is a SMART goal? And that's in capital letters, SMART. It's basically a tactic used to help guide you through goal setting and setting up your goals. And it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. And when you wrap all of those things up into the goal, you turn your goal from being vague or broad, and then it turns into an actionable goal. So just to break down SMART, it would be specific, which you state what you want to do and use action words when you're making this goal. And measurable will be to provide a way to evaluate your progress and how you will know the goal is complete. Attainable, and in some of the graphs, they use achievable or actionable as the A word, and meaning can the goal be reasonably accomplished in a certain time frame. And relevant would be to do your goals align with your long-term objectives? Like, are your goals that you're writing down, are they relevant to you, or are they something that you picked up from someone else and think, oh, let me do that, but it really is not something for you? And time bound is to provide a specific time frame you want to accomplish the goal. So meaning you want to accomplish this goal by January 30th, February 1st, like putting a time date on it so that you can work from that time, for that deadline back, so that you can make it. So you work from, maybe I'm making that kind of confusing. So once you make a deadline, you can work backwards to where you're at now to see how you can achieve that goal by your deadline. And so so now that I talked about the SMART goal, you're going to want to start off with a list of goals that you want to achieve for the year. Once you have done that, you can pick 3 to 4 goals that you want to prioritize for your first 12-week year plan. And when I say first 12-week year plan, I'm meaning if you actually, by the time you finish the first one, the first quarter, if you really like it and you want to do it again, then you can kind of like do the same thing over. So you may not be listening to this January 1st. Well, obviously, because it's not going to be launched until January 8th or 15th. But if you're not listening to it in January, then what you basically are doing is you're breaking it up, the 12 months, into into the quarters. So you can achieve more goals by doing the 12-week year plan than just having goals for the whole year. So you can have so my list right now has about 20 goals up there. Now some of them I might not be able to get to in the year, but I just wanted to jot down everything that I can think of that I want to do. And then if it can't be done this year, I want to move it to first priority next year. And so, for example, I picked out technically 5 goals for my first 12-week year plan, because I'm planning on doing multiples this year. Because there's a lot that I need to get done, because I really didn't get that much done last year. So, what goals that I have some that I have to give to you guys are, for example, start my podcast, grow my social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest. Those are my main four. I am on Facebook, but that's just mostly for family. So my main four are the ones that I'm trying to grow. I want to earn income from brand deals and collaborations. I want to prioritize. Okay, now I can't talk. I want to prioritize more self care in my life, and I want to improve the kids' reading and math skills. So these are like general goals. And then once I put them in the 12-week plan, that's when I break them down into SMART goals to make them be more attainable. So let me know some of your goals. Let me know in the comments and DMs. I definitely want to chat with you guys and, check on y'all progress. And I would love to give you guys, if you want to hear my progress on my top 5 goals for right now, like, let me know. Just let me know if you want to hear where I'm at in my 12-week year plan. And so once you have got your top 3 or 4 goals, and like I said, you can do more or less, you're going to implement the SMART goals into your plan of action. So by implementing it, you are going to set up your 12-week calendar, and then you're going to break it down into specific dates. So the breakdown will be each week, so you'll have 12 weeks broken down onto your plan, and you're gonna write out all of the goals that you have put on your plan, and then you're gonna make another sub bullet point, is that the right word? To how you're gonna attain those each week, how you're gonna make that goal be accomplished by the end of the 12th week. And so once you do that, like I said, your goals, you can start small, you can break down big goals, which I think helps with the overall big goal. For an example, I don't want to do this, but for an example, like a lot of people, their New Year's goal is to lose weight, right? So losing weight is a broad goal. What are you really going to do with that? It can mean a lot of things. So when you get more specific and say, I want to lose 60 pounds, that's your big goal for the year, right? So how can you break that down into quarters? So like I said, if you work on the 12-week plan for the whole year, you can have 4 opportunities to work on these goals. So you can break that 60 down, and we're doing a little bit of math right now, right? You can break that goal into 4. So then your first quarter 12-week year plan would be 15 pounds that you would want to lose for the first quarter. Now, if you want to go big and say, I want to lose 20 pounds, and then each month it will be less that you have to lose for the 60 pounds. And if you go over the 60 pounds, that's even better, right? So the 15 pounds would be what you would use for your 12-week plan. And in the 12-week plan, you will eat in each week. So basically 15 pounds in 12 weeks, that's about I would guess, I would say if you want to round it to whole numbers, I would just say week 1, I want to lose 2 pounds. Week 2, I want to lose 2 pounds. Because by the time you get to week 12, you'll have lost 24 pounds. Actually, 12 to, yeah. So you'll actually have achieved the goal and overachieved it, actually. So by you breaking it down and showing yourself, okay, what I got to do this week? I need to lose 2 pounds. How am I going to do that? I'm going to go exercise 30 minutes a day or an hour a day for the week. Or I'm going to walk a track for every day, every afternoon. So just breaking it down makes it more easier for when you come back at the beginning of the week to say, all right, what I got to do this week? What I got to do this week, Courtney? Oh, okay, so you need to do such and such and such to get that done this week? All right, bet. Let me do that, right? And so for me, my example that I give you guys is the podcast, right? So the podcast, for my SMART goal, instead of it being the broad goal of start my podcast, right? Broad, vague, whatever. To make it a SMART goal, I changed it to I want to launch my podcast on January 8th, 2023, and have 15 episodes recorded by March 12th, 2023. So that will be my goal. And then on my 12-week calendar, I'll take that goal and I will put it on that 12-week plan, and I will have it broken down to where I will show the last day, which would be March 12th, 2023, is when I need my last 15th episode recorded. I will put that stamped into week 12. So then I will work backwards and say, how can I accomplish this goal by each week? So like week 1, for example, I needed to record 4 episodes just so I can get ahead. And then week 2, I need to record 2 episodes. Week 3, I need to record 1 episode. Week 4, I need to do the guest episode if that's going to be able to happen. So like the March 12th is basically giving me time to, if I can't get my guest on, I can at least get all my solo episodes, which is only like 3 episodes that have guests right now. So March 12th is giving me enough time to say, hey, I need to find a date where I can meet with you guys and we can do the podcast together. And then I'll have enough time to edit it. And because I believe if everything works out, April 30th will be the last day, like the season finale for season 1. That'll be my 15th episode that will drop. And so that's just an example of a good, specific, I want to launch my podcast on January 8th, 2023, and have 15 episodes recorded by March 12th, 2023. Now, if I have more episodes recorded by then, that's even better. But this is giving me the basis of it, of the 15 episodes. And so once you have started breaking down all of your goals into their own little categories, you can adjust goals if needed and have patience with yourself. It's okay because life is still happening. So if something happens where it comes up where you can't get that done, it's okay. You're just going to adjust your plan accordingly. And then sometimes I think one of the key things that I kind of want to do that Corey did on her plan was when she said she only wrote out the first week because she wanted to come back to see like her results. And then on that day, whatever day, I can't remember what day she picks, that she'll start writing out week 2 so that you can still be in it. Because sometimes if you plan it all out, you're just gonna keep pushing it to the side. Because I think that's what happened with my podcast at first. I had all the episodes when I was gonna record them, everything planned out, but I really didn't keep up with looking at it, or ran out of time, ran out of deadlines. So, like I said, life is happening. Don't be too hard on yourself. And then by the end of the 12-week plan, evaluate your results. Did you accomplish any of your goals? How do you like the process? Was it too fast for you, or do you need a little bit more time? And if you were to do it again, would you do it differently? And if you can, would you do another 12-week plan throughout the year? Because I feel like it's kind of fun. Maybe I'm just crazy, but it's kind of like fun to like knock off some goals, even if they're not big goals. And then also I think I wrote up here saying what you can do is once you break down your big goals, I think that's where I kind of was talking about. That's when we got into the mathematics of one goal, and then you can prioritize your goals as well and make it fun. Example, you can include your friends, kind of exchange your goals together, and kind of hold each other accountable or help each other with each other's goals. I say this because, for example, I'm going to send my friend my goals action plan, and so she can see it, and I think she's going to send me hers, and we're going to try to keep each other, hey, week 1, did you finish such and such? Did you do it? and then like maybe doing with your friend like a meetup, like if you're doing like a girls day or something like that. What's up, guys? Thank you for watching the video. As you can see, it cut off because I didn't realize my camera died while I was blabbing my mouth. But I just want to say thank you so much for if you've listened on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify Podcasts. Thank you so much. It is really appreciated. And the full version is on the actual audio. The audio version is actually on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. So make sure you check that out. Download, subscribe, let me know, give me a review, let me know what you think so far. And make sure you tune in to the next episode, which is featuring my daughter Nala, which is I'm not a regular mom, I'm a cool mom. So thank you so much for all the downloads so far. Really appreciate it. Until next time, bye.